To be anxious is to be human. Anxiety is part of everyday life for all of us. But how do we stop anxiety from its negative impact on our life? Hello, my friend. My name is Zach Newman, and I'm an anxiety management coach. And on this channel, we discover how to stop those negative impacts of chronic anxiety. Today, we're going to discover a simple 3-step process to overcome anxiety. But what we're talking about is chronic anxiety, not acute anxiety. Let's discuss the difference. So recently I got to go to Alaska on this awesome fishing trip in the middle of nowhere with my dad and brother. It was a week-long thing. It was a great time. But there's something you need to know about me. I have a fear of bears. So go to Alaska during the salmon run when the grizzlies are all over the place is a brilliant idea for this guy. What's better is when we were up there, we're in the middle of nowhere. And when I say in the middle of nowhere, I mean 50, 60 miles from the nearest town. A float plane putting us into places that most people have never been. Like, didn't see a foot track, didn't see a human, and we slept in tents. Okay, so put a guy that's fearful of bears in a tent surrounded by grizzlies, okay? Chronic anxiety took over. Chronic anxiety is my fear of those bears. Like, that is me waking up in the middle of the night to every noise, thinking maybe this is the time where I'm a bear snack, right? That's chronic anxiety. It's the slow drip that goes on that puts us into that fight, flight, or freeze. Acute anxiety would be if one of those lovely brown bears that look great on video screen, but not so great in person, was attacking my face. That would be acute anxiety. We do not want to calm acute anxiety. We want to fight, flight, or freeze in those moments. That's a healthy anxiety. But chronic anxiety is there not just when we're afraid of a grizzly bear. Chronic anxiety can be there when we're afraid of what someone will think, when we're fearful because we don't have control. It can show up in a bunch of different places. But the first step in the simple process of overcoming chronic anxiety is to notice that we're anxious. There's a few different ways that anxiety will manifest in our bodies and minds. And here's what that is. Number one, a spinning mind. So a spinning mind is when you are thinking about something over and over and over again. You're ruminating on it. For me, one of the big things that I get anxious about is wanting people to like me. So I'll get spinning mind after I have a conversation with a person. When I leave that conversation and I'm driving home and I'm going, oh, what did you just say? Or, oh, maybe I just messed up our friendship. Like, that is spinning mind. The other way it can show up is in a racing heart. So have you ever had these moments where you're doing some activity, or maybe you're even laying in bed at night and your heart just starts racing? That's a sign of anxiety. A third way it can show up in our bodies is by tightening body, right? For me, that's my jaw gets tight right here. It could be you could even feel sick because it's tightening your body so much that you feel like you're going to hurl. That happens to me before I give a public speech. In fact, this happened to me the first time I had to stand up in front of people and speak. I was so overcome with chronic anxiety, I ended up throwing up. That is tightening body to a whole other level, right? So those are the 3 ways: spinning mind, racing heart, and tightening body. Which one of those do you first notice your anxiety? Because here's the thing. The quicker we notice we're starting to get anxious, the more we can get on top of our anxiety. That is one of the big secrets to managing anxiety. Noticing is the hardest step and the most crucial. Number 2, in our path, once we notice that we've got anxious, is simply to name what it is we're anxious about. We can sometimes be very general in this, but we want to be as specific as possible. See, the more you can specifically name what it is you're anxious about, the more the anxiety will reduce. Let's give that public speaking one a whirl, shall we, to name what it is Zach was anxious about when he's throwing up over there, right? I don't know what it is for you and what makes you the most anxious, but for me, it's how other people view me. And so you might think I'm insane to do a YouTube channel. Maybe I am, but I have to overcome that each time I record these videos, right? What was going on inside of me was I wanted people to like me. Not only did I want them to like me when I'm up there, I wanted them to be impressed with me. Not only did I want them to be impressed with me, I wanted them to hear me talk and go, where has this guy been our whole lives? Oh, he's just amazing. You know, when we start to really name what it is that is stirring us up, it's usually over the top. That was my first time of speaking in front of people. And to have expectations for myself that people would be blown away with whatever I had to say was kind of unreasonable. But that's what anxiety does. It gives us these unrealistic, unreasonable expectations. So a few places to start when you're looking at naming things is control a trigger for you. Is needing to be liked a trigger for you? Maybe it's having to know the answer. That might be one of your triggers. Or you might really feel like you need to be there for others. Oftentimes, anxiety takes a good desire and overblows it. Right? Number 3. So we've noticed, we've named, the last step is diffusing. You know, honestly, when we notice and name our anxiety, that diffuses a lot. Like sometimes we don't even need to go to the next step. Because if we catch it early and name it, we can often rise above it. But sometimes there's certain situations that get us super anxious. And we need this strong last push of diffusing. And what we want to do is we want to look to 3 different places to diffuse. One is, who are people in your life that when you're with, you leave filled up? You know, I have relationships in my life that are they're very filling for me. I'm married. My wife, Rachel, is an amazing person for me. She is my calm when I am a storm. Like when I'm inner turmoil, she's able to remain calm. She's a person that fills me up. My 3 children that I have, they are amazing as well, but they're teenagers and preteens, and they do not fill me. In fact, we just got done, I'm recording this right after Christmas break, where we had a couple weeks alone as a family. It was a wonderful time, and I am exhausted. I was ready to go back to work to get filled up. So you can have people you love in your life that you care for, that you want to be with, but don't necessarily fill you up. And that can be tricky. So one of the things I recommend is when you're looking for who fills you up in your life, after you spent time with them, just write it down. Write down how you felt. Like, there's some people that challenge you, and that fills you up. There's some people that challenge you, and that drains you. You know, just know yourself. Don't judge these things, but write them down. Who fills you up? I have a list about 7 people in my life right now that really fill me. So the next thing you look for is, what are places that fill you up? You know, I live in a rural town in the country because this guy likes the outdoors. I'm set up for this. I can walk out my door right now and be in a place that fills me up. For you, you might be filled up within the city. I don't understand that, but if that fills you up, you probably don't understand why I want to be a country bumpkin. Like, look for these things in your life that fill you up, these places that fill you and encourage you. Think about a time in your life that just brings you like this peaceful calm. For me, it's sitting by the Deschutes River in Central Oregon that just flows gently by. That is one of the most peaceful, filling places for me. For you, what is it? Because these can be clues to other places that will fill you. So for me, it's nature. Home is another one. We're recording this in my house. This is a place that fills me. Other people's homes do not fill me. In fact, I get anxious when I'm there. So just go through it. Maybe home's not a place that you feel filled, and that's okay. Remember, remove judgment when you're looking at these things. Number 3, what is an activity that fills you up? You know, I'm out here in Oregon. Like I said, I'm in an area that's rural. I love to fish and hunt. Those are things that fill me up. I also like Oregon Ducks and football. And so my family and I, we go to football games. That does not fill me up. I'm anxious watching those. I'm competitive. I want them to win. They always beat the Beavers. But, we have these, if you're an Oregon State fan, I'm sorry. But we have a great time at those, but they don't leave me filled up. In fact, I leave empty. I left it all out on the field. No, I just watched, but I'm empty after that. So that's not an activity that fills me, even though I enjoy it. So when you're going through different activities you do, write down how you feel after. Not even what you feel like during, because like for me, running is a thing I love to do. It's one of the most filling things outside of fishing and hunting that I do that fills me up. But while I'm running, sometimes it just sucks. And so, but afterwards, I know it fills me up. Here's the thing though. When you look for people, places, and activities that fill you up, when you're in anxiety, you're going to think nothing fills you up. In fact, when you're in an anxious state, you might feel like everything's hopeless. So what's really crucial is to figure out the people, places, and activities that fill you up when you're not anxious and write them down. In fact, I have a little notebook that's right at my feet right now that has the different activities I can do that fill me up, so that when I'm anxious and this cabeza is not working, I could just read it and do it. And you want a different wide range of activities in those diffusing. You want some that are vacations, right? Hawaii with my wife, very filling. I cannot do that all the time though. That'd be really cool if I could. But there's other activities that can take me a minute or two that I can do every day. For me, that's reading my Bible in the morning. It's praying. I even have a puzzle over there that I'm working on because that fills me up. I'm doing a video because this fills me up. For you, write down big and small, things that cost money, things that don't. And my friend, you are the great experiment. Experiment. We don't know ourselves as well as we think we do. I've tried some things that I thought I would hate, and I ended up loving it. I've also tried some things that I thought, this will be the best thing ever, and I hated it. And so just try new things. Get a baseline of what you know fills you up, and then experiment for more. I think my total list of things that fill me up that diffuse, that I can use to diffuse, is about 150 things long. And I'm continuing to build on it. Because why not? Because the things that fill me up are also worth doing and bring beauty to life. So remember, next time you get anxious, it's a simple 3-step process to notice, name, and diffuse, and you can get on top of that anxiety and return to your normal, peaceful self. Have a great day as you manage your anxiety.